I think what's holding the Fed is still inflation, right? When you still have the headline figures double what their target is, can they really kind of signal a pause and be done, you mean, when it comes to this tightening cycle, if inflation is still this sticky?
You know, I think that's the trickiest part, and that's why the futures markets are pricing in that there will be another 25 basis points increase between now and the July meeting. But of course, the markets have priced out a 25 basis point, quarter of a percentage point increase on the June 14th meeting, because again, we're seeing enough slowing, especially on the goods inflation side, to dictate that it's time for the Fed to pause. And of course, you know, in the United States today, we've just gotten news that we're going to be raising capital requirements for banks in a situation that's already considered to be and accepted as a credit crunch. So there are different factors that are buttressing the Fed right now and forcing them, I think, to push pause. As a former Fed insider for 9 years, it's very unique, if not, you know, unprecedented for the Fed to pause in June and then restart a tightening campaign in July. I just don't see it.
Yeah, and it adds more confusion, I think, to markets as well. I'm just wondering how, you know, if you're thinking that the Fed could pause or maybe be done, how soon do you think the Fed could actually cut then, Danielle?
Well, and this is where we start to depart from the Volcker history and from the history of the last 40, 50 years of central banking. It's the intention, the stated intention of Jerome Powell and his chief lieutenants to continue with quantitative tightening, to continue shrinking the Fed's balance sheet in the background, even after they pause on raising interest rates, which is its own form of tightening, especially as Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen goes to refill the nation's checking account, if you will, selling $1 trillion of treasuries in order to bring liquidity back into the checking account. Very tenuous times here, and it looks like the Fed Chair Jay Powell may be embarking upon an era that we don't have a parallel to which to contrast where we're headed. If this tightening continues, I dare say the bankruptcy cycles that we started out talking about are just going to become more indebted.